trespassers in Wondergore.
One evening, while Quicksilver carries on his operations in his lab, he gets intercepted by a quick transmission call from his twin sister, Scarlet Witch. Annoyed, he warns her to stop using X-Factor override frequencies, but she says it's an emergency. Scarlet Witch reveals that she had received a call from the hospital about their father, who has been bedridden for a while. The report was that he's getting more agitated, so he's requesting to see his children one last time, in case he gets an early ticket to the afterlife. Quicksilver gets shocked because just the previous week, the same hospital had reported that their old man was slowly leaving the danger zone, and now he's suddenly in a worse state. He immediately gets into his jet and heads over to pick her up while they head to the hospital. On getting there, the old man, in a far more critical condition, is pleased to see them. While they exchange pleasantries, the old man tells them he needs to let them know about a huge secret, which has been eating him up for years. He then starts by reminiscing about the old times, watching them grow and all, before dropping the bombshell. To the twins' surprise, their old man reveals that although he and his late wife Maria had raised them, they're not their biological parents. Turns out that they had been delivered to him and Maria by a demi-human midwife named Bova immediately after they were born. Bova had known how much they both wanted children of their own, but since the geezer was never able to prove himself as a man, even at his youthful age, things didn't work out. Bova had handed over the twins to them and made them swear an oath about never revealing the details. Before taking her leave one mysterious night, he had sworn never to reveal the truth to them about it, but seeing that he is slowly becoming past tense, he feels obliged to. The twins ask for the identity of their real parents, but the old man is just as clueless as they as well. But he reveals that they'll be able to get answers when they seek Bova, revealing a legendary rumor that she lives somewhere far away, beyond the mists of a high mountain in a mysterious place known as Wondergore. The old man then closes his eyes to rest. He ignores the rest of their questions because he doesn't want to use all his remaining energy talking to them. They're not his only dying wish. He had also requested a final chance with some slim, thick Latino baddies, but the hospital has yet to find them. The twins do not buy the story, but they just decide to find out if it's legit.
Do you buy all this?
Be quiet. We have to check it out.
Meanwhile, at the X-Mansion, Magneto pays a friendly visit to Xavier. When he arrives, Xavier is quite surprised to see him, not only because of their enmity, but because he had put Wolverine on guard duty. Magneto then shares how he had easily put Wolverine on a leash before walking in. When Xavier asks why he came, Magneto reveals that he received news that his wife, Magda, might still be alive, so he would be traveling to confirm it. The professor is quite surprised because they've been searching for Magda without results for years, so they felt it'd be best to assume that she has passed away. He points out that it could be a trap, but Magneto tells him he's prepared to go either way, since it's the only way to find out. Before he leaves, he asks Xavier a favor to help him survey the area and make sure that there is no unusual mutant activity going on. Although the professor is strongly against the whole idea, he agrees to help for old time's sake. While Magneto leaves the building, he asks the professor to do him another favor and stay out of his business, should the whole situation be a setup.
Please do not interfere.
Shortly after he leaves, Wolverine storms in, furious, like he didn't just get humbled a couple of minutes earlier. Xavier reveals to him that Magneto only wanted some alone time with his bro, and that it's not that deep. He then orders Wolverine to secretly follow Magneto wherever he's going, so he can notify him if any form of trouble arises.
Follow him. Notify me immediately if there is trouble.
Early the next morning, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch arrive at Wundagore Mountain. They reach a large, fortified complex hidden among the cliffs, but before they can get any closer, a robotic figure steps out to confront them, introducing himself as the High Evolutionary. When they tell him their names and explain that they've come seeking the truth about their origins, he freezes in disbelief. The twins he once knew could not have survived, yet their resemblance is unmistakable. Wanting to be sure, he leads them inside his compound for confirmation. Within the strange halls filled with machines and half-animal, half-human servants, High Evolutionary activates a scanning device which confirms the twins' genetic identities. Without hesitation, he takes them to meet Bova.
Pietro, Wanda.
Ignoring Bova's warm welcome, the twins get into business and ask about their parents. Bova's face falls as she recounts what happened years ago. During a violent winter storm, she found a woman named Magda nearly frozen outside Wandagore. Terrified and exhausted, Magda had been fleeing a mutant whose rage had driven him to destroy entire villages searching for her. Bova cared for her and helped deliver her twins safely, but Magda's fear never left her. One night, convinced the mutant would find her, she left her newborns behind and vanished into the storm. She never returned, and the High Evolutionary later found her body buried in the snow. The twins get enraged and request the name of the villain, and Bova, pretending like she didn't just rage bait them, tells them she wouldn't recommend it. After much persistence, she finally gives up the name, and the twins are not too shocked to learn that the person responsible is Magneto, the world's most despised villain. They decide that they're going to make sure they defeat Magneto, but High Evolutionary tries to stop them, telling them it will only lead to more bloodshed. When he realizes he can't stop them, he sends a few of his most powerful demi-human creatures to accompany them.
So much has been accomplished this day. Soon the world will know the peace and joy I can give it.
While Wolverine secretly follows Magneto, he reports back to Xavier that everything seems to be going normally. When Magneto arrives at the meeting spot in a graveyard, he finds a hooded woman who calls out to him, introducing herself as Magda. When he tries to approach, the woman stops him, telling him he has hurt her enough and that she wouldn't want him causing her any more harm. Magneto immediately gets down on his knees and starts begging, just like how Drake should have pleaded with Kendrick during the beef. While trying to prove just how much he has changed, he suddenly notices the woman's hands and finds out that she's not his wife. Sadly, he has just lost his entire aura while trying to rizz up a demi-human. Suddenly, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch pull up and confront him about their mother, but to their surprise, Magneto asks them to be more specific as he has lost count of the number of people he has obliterated. The twins immediately get furious and start attacking him. But it doesn't take long for Magneto to turn the tables and start folding them. The demi-human reinforcements then appear and take Magneto down. Meanwhile, Wolverine, who is watching the whole thing, reports back to Xavier. Scarlet Witch uses the opportunity to bind Magneto to a tree with one of her special attacks, while Quicksilver gears up to meet him straight out of the timeline on 2x speed. Suddenly, the demi-humans switch up on the twins and bind them down. The twins then realize that they were only used as pawns to make Magneto's abduction easier. Seeing how the demi-humans intend to take both Magneto and the twins back in captivity, Wolverine jumps out of his hiding place and starts handing out ass-whoopings in alphabetical order. Magneto also manages to break free and join the fight, although he expresses his disappointment in Xavier for not keeping his word. When the mutants gain the upper hand, the demi-humans finally resort to their trump card. They each put on a mask and release a toxic gas, almost as dangerous as the one you produce. The mutants pass out as a result, so they get dragged back without resistance. At the X-Mansion, Beast and the Professor try to figure out what exactly could have made Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch attack Magneto, but they have no leads. So they decide to get a spaceship and go after them.
Get the Blackbird. Triangulate on his communicator.
At the Wundargor building, while the twins remain unconscious, Magneto and Wolverine wake up to themselves suspended in some kind of solidified jelly. While trying to figure out where they are, Magneto points out that he has heard rumors about a mystical valley known as Wundargor, not too far from the graveyard. He reveals that if that's where they are, then he knows who's responsible for their abduction. High Evolutionary then reveals himself and starts to yap about his science project of creating a demi-human army, and how he has has taken years to get to where he's currently at. He reveals that the twins are a very vital aspect of his grand plan because Scarlet Witch possesses the mastery of probability, which would increase his chances of matching genetic codes 1,000-fold. Similarly, combining it with the speed-enhancing powers of Quicksilver's DNA would finally help him complete a decade's work in just a few minutes. He had equally taken samples of Magneto's DNA and fused it with the twins to create a serum which would make his demi-human army invincible. High Evolutionary then wakes up the twins and drops the most shocking revelation ever, telling them that Magneto is their real father. While they argue about it, High Evolutionary transports Wolverine into a tube, where he decides to use Hal as the first test subject of his new formula.
Reunited in my service, lives dedicated to remaking the world.
When the operation is carried out on him, Wolverine transforms into a huge werewolf monster and goes into a rampage for no fucking reason.
To populate a new world, the recreation of life on Earth.
A short while after, Xavier and Beast arrive at the area and the alarms begin to blare, alerting High Evolutionary and the demi-humans. Suddenly, bots appear and start to attack, but Xavier and Beast, who have clearly not come to fight, find other ways around the building. Inside, Magneto tells the twins about how kind their mother was. Apparently, she had become so frightened of him and the way he always threatened to touch her inappropriately that she ran away without even telling him she was expecting twins. He had desperately searched for her ever since, but she was nowhere to be found. Magneto then decides to stop holding back his abilities as he shatters the substance holding himself and the twins down with some electromagnetic radiation. He uses a force field to escape with them through the mountains, but High Evolutionary's demi-humans catch up to them mid-air. Destroying the force field, they all fall down, and while Magneto tries to save his own ass, Scarlet Witch lands on one of the floating vehicles. She immediately hijacks it and uses it to secure her safety. Quicksilver, on the other hand, uses his speed to form a tornado and keep himself suspended in the air long enough for his sister to rescue him. Other demi-humans catch up to them and still end up knocking Quicksilver off, but this time, he's close enough to the ground to end up landing without fracturing his bones. Meanwhile, Magneto arrives at Xavier's ship and saves him and Beast from getting jumped by a bunch of random demi-humans, as fighting is not their strength. Wolverine, still in his Beast form, joins the fight and tries to attack the Professor, but Beast immediately causes a diversion and makes him come after him instead. Magneto and Quicksilver immediately discover that High Evolutionary is trying to get away, so they try to go after him to stop him. Quicksilver, the infamous speedster and probably the 29th fastest man alive, dashes ahead with his tremendous speed, but gets blasted away by an explosion at the building entrance. Magneto then has to change focus and save his son. Scarlet Witch equally tries to pursue them with her newly acquired vehicle, but gets hit by an attack as well, causing her to fall onto a nearby tree. The mutants then watch as the mysterious building at the top of the mountain morphs into a spaceship, which takes its time to retract all the demi-humans around before disappearing. After they leave, Magneto angrily declares that there is no place on Earth for High Evolutionary to hide, because when he comes at him, he'll be coming hard. All the trees around the area where the building was located then melt into rocks, causing the mutants to wonder just what kind of evolution must have been performed. Wolverine, who had been left behind, also morphs back into his human form and meets Beast in a freaky position over him, with his hands around his neck, pretending like he's not bricked up from his wildest fantasy coming true. He immediately brushes him off on some nonchalant shit. In the aftermath, Magneto hands the wounded Quicksilver over to his sister. He apologizes, telling them his life can never go back to the way it used to be. Not that he knows he has not just one, but two children. He offers that they get to know each other over time, but Quicksilver snaps at him, telling him to get his head out of his ass as they would never forgive him for what he did to their mother. Magneto accepts the blame, admitting that he was young and naive back then, and that losing their mother is still one of the greatest regrets of his life. life. He then tells the twins that he had no idea about them the whole time, and that if he had known, he would definitely have come for them. The twins, who have been hurt beyond what words can describe, just quietly take their leave. When they leave, Magneto asks Xavier if they'll ever be able to forgive him someday, and the professor tells him to just give them time and see for himself. Beast tries to cheer him up as well, but Magneto tells them they'll never understand the gravity of the sin he's carrying. He then gets into his force field and disappears into self-isolation again till further notice. Thank you for sticking to the end of my video. Please do me the biggest favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video.